Morning student, welcome to our physics class. Last day what we will learn? Last day we learn about the inclined plane, wedge and screw. I think you are able to understand everything. Today rest other simple machine we will learn. Okay. So what is an inclined plane? That day we see that once an inclined plane is a rigid sloping surface over which heavy loads can be raised or lowered to a certain height or depth. This is an inclined plane. The uses of inclined plane, what we are learned, the ramps, roads on hills and staircase are the example which one we used for uploading the load or download the load from upper part or upper height to lower height. Okay. Next is wedge. What is a wedge? A wedge is a double inclined plane such that the two sloping surfaces taper to form a surf edge. That is the wedge. The example of wedges are pins, nails, needles, axe, chisel, axe. These are the examples. Now, what is a screw? A screw is an inclined rod marked with winding spherical edge called thread. We use the screw to better than nail because the tip of the screw is narrow, sharp and pointed. The head has a narrow slit which is used to turn the screw using a screwdriver. As the screw is forced and rotated into a piece of wood, it travels a longer distance than a nail would. Less effort is needed to drive a screw into a block of wood than drive a nail. Also, because of its threads, a screw grips the wood more firmly than a nail. Clear? Last days we learned these things. Today we learn about the pulley. A pulley is a wheel or a circular disc. That can rotate freely about a fixed point. It can rotate about a fixed point. In the village, in the well, there is a fixed pulley by which we can draw the water from downward direction to upward direction. We use this fixed pulley. So what is a pulley? A pulley, mark it. Pencil is in your hand, yes or no? Take a pencil and mark it. A pulley is a wheel or a circular disc that can rotate freely about a fixed point. A pulley is made up of a flat circular disc or metal or wood having a groove along its rim. A pulley rotates around a fixed point passing through its center. A pulley is used to lift heavy objects. A rope or a metal chain passes through the groove. The groove prevents the rope from slipping off the disc. What happens? We use the rope or the metal chain, and the pulley there is a groove. Why the groove? Groove not allow the rope or the chain slip. So there is a groove by which we can rotate the wheel very firmly. The groove prevents the rope from slipping off the disc. The load to be lifted is attached to one end of the rope or the chain. whereas the effort is applied on the other end. One end of the rope or the chain, the load is there, and the other end by which we can apply the effort. When we pull the water from the well, we can pull it in the downward direction. It is easy. When we are snatching the water from downward to upward direction, it is not that much easy. When we pull the rope in the from upward to downwards, it is easy for us. That is why the pulley is used. A pulley generally changes the direction of the applied force from upward against gravity to downward towards gravity. When we are taking it upwards, that means we are working against gravity. It is not so easy to do the work against gravity, but when we pull the rope towards gravity, it is easy for us. Understood? Now, two examples of pulleys are given here. Single fixed pulley, which one I told in the well, in the village area we are using, that is single fixed pulley. A single market. A single fixed pulley has a fixed axis of rotation. Fixed axis of rotation. This pulley is attached to a rigid support. While using this pulley, we pull the rope downwards so that the load moves upward. The loads from the downward, it moves to the upward, and it is towards the gravity. We apply the effort towards the gravity. So it is easy for us to upward the load from the downward direction to the upward direction. Okay. So what is a single fixed pulley? A single fixed pulley has a fixed axis of rotation. That is a single fixed pulley. This pulley is attached to a rigid support. So while using this pulley, we pull the rope downwards so that the load moves upward. Here the effort moves through the same direction as a load. This type of pulley is commonly used to draw water from well. Now, single movable pulley. In a single movable pulley, the axis of rotation is not fixed. The axis of rotation, the wheel is rotated around a fixed axis, that is the single fixed pulley. But when the pulley is totally rotated, there is no axis of rotation. That type of pulley is known as single movable pulley. One end of the rope which passes over the groove is tied to a rigid support. The effort is applied on the other end of the rope. The load is attached to the pulley. This type of pulley is generally used in cranes to lift heavy loads. So, fixed pulley, where we used fixed pulley? Cranes. In cranes we used fixed pulley, single fixed pulley to lift heavy loads. Wheel and axle arrangement. What is the wheel and axle arrangement? As the name suggests, this machine is a combination of a wheel and axle. A wheel and axle arrangement market and wheel and axle arrangement consist of a wheel attached to a rod called axis such that when the wheel is made to rotate, the axle also rotates. So what is that ones? I am giving one example. It is easy for you to able to understand. You saw the steering of a car. The steering of a car. There is an axle which there is a wheel. Both are there axle and wheel both are there. See that once. See that once. This is the axle. This is the axle. This is the axle. This is the axle. And wheel is round one. So both are work together. Wheel and axle both are work together. Common example. There is a common example. Screwdriver. That big ones are axle and the small thicker ones are the wheel. It is not like the wheel, but it is a round shape. We can rotate it. The knob of a tap, that is also arrangement of wheel and axle. The wheel is hidden here. But for the wheel we can use the another shapes, which one we are rotate. To rotate the tap to open the mouth of the tap, and the axle is inside it. So what is a wheel and axle? Mark it. A wheel and axle arrangement consists of a wheel attached to a rod called axle, such that when the wheel is made to rotate, the axle also rotates. Up to here. In most wheel and axle devices, the actual part of the device that needs to be turned is usually the axle. Since it is not easy to turn the rod without an aid, it is attached with a wheel, which is easy to rotate. When an effort is applied on the wheel, it is easily makes to fixed axle rotate with it. When a force is applied on the wheel, the axle rotates with a greater force. Screwdriver, doorknobs, paddles of a bicycle, steering wheels and drilling machine used by carpenters are some example of wheel and axle. So mark it. Some examples of wheel and axle are what? Screwdrivers, doorknobs, paddle of a bicycle, steering wheels and drilling machine used by the carpenters. In some cases, such as rotating spindle tap, instead of proper wheel, only a handle is attached to the axle. Just now I told, without making the shape of a wheel, we can make a handle also. Different shape also we can make to rotate the axle. That is also the wheel and axle arrangement. Like that one spindle tap. Instead of proper wheel, only a handle is attached to the axle. This handle works like a wheel and rotates. Okay, this is about the what we learned today about the pulley, single movable pulley, single fixed pulley, wheel and axle arrangement. Now we read about the care of machine. When we are handling the machine or keep it home, we have to take some care about the machine. What are that? Some of the ways, mark it. Some of the ways in which machines should be cared for is given here. What is that? Machines should be kept in a clean environment which is free from dust and moisture. With dust and moisture, machine will be damaged. So, where we keep the machine? Clean environment which is free from dust and moisture. When not in use, machines should be kept covered to prevent the collection of dust on them. We cover it. We cover the machine with cover Which one prevents from dust? We can take care of the machine like this way. Machines make the iron should be protected from rust by coating them with paint. Machine parts, which one is made by iron? We coat them by paints, which prevents rusting of iron. The moving parts of the machine should be regularly oiled with the good quality machine oil to reduce friction and wear and tear. So machine parts, which one is movable? Always we cleaned and oiled proper machine oil, which one reduce the friction and wear and tear. These 4 points you have to learn. Okay? So today we learn what we learn about the pulley, single fixed pulley, single movable pulley, wheel and axle arrangement, care of machines. This we learn today. Okay? Today up to this. Next class again we will meet.